Independent Expenditures by Persons Other than Political Committees, an online presentation of the FEC's Information Division. In this video, we'll define the term independent expenditure, identify the entities that can make independent expenditures, and review some of the applicable reporting requirements. To begin, let's talk about what independent expenditures are. Independent expenditures, or IEs, are communications like this TV ad that expressly advocate the election or defeat of a clearly identified candidate, and are made without cooperation, consultation, request, or suggestion of a candidate or party committee. There is no limit on the amount that may be spent on an independent expenditure. However, each communication must include a disclaimer that identifies who paid for it, and the funds raised and spent for it must be reported to the FEC. Next, let's look at who can make independent expenditures. While many IEs are made by political committees registered with the FEC, other entities are allowed to make them too. For example, individuals, nonprofit groups including 501c4 organizations, corporations, and labor organizations can all finance independent expenditures. Regardless of who's making the independent expenditure, the funds raised and spent to finance it must be reported to the FEC. Individuals, groups, corporations, and labor organizations must disclose their independent expenditures on FEC Form 5 at the end of the first quarterly reporting period, in which their expenditures with respect to a given election aggregate more than $250 in a calendar year. Additional Form 5 filings are required in any subsequent quarterly period in which additional IEs of any amount are made. Form 5 may be filed electronically, or if your annual contributions received or expenditures made total less than $50,000, you may file it on paper. To find the form, select Help for Candidates and Committees, then Forms. On the Forms page, select Other Filers. If you file electronically, you must use the web form for non-registered entities or persons without an FEC-assigned ID for your first report. After that, you'll receive an FEC ID number and can file all future reports using your electronic filing software. On Form 5, you'll begin by identifying yourself, then the calendar quarter your report covers. Remember, you'll file your first report at the end of the quarterly reporting period during which your independent expenditures aggregate more than $250 with respect to a given election in a calendar year. Next, you'll indicate whether this is a new or amended report, the coverage period, and provide the totals for contributions received and money spent to make independent expenditures. Each contributor who makes a contribution during the reporting period aggregating in excess of $200 during the calendar year must be itemized on Schedule 5A, including their name and address, the contribution date and amount, and the contributor's employer and occupation. If the contribution was given to further any independent expenditures, include memo text stating that fact. Please note that only contributions, funds given for the purpose of influencing a federal election, are reportable. Donations made to the filing entity for other purposes need not be disclosed. If no funds meeting the definition of a contribution were received, noting that fact using memo text may help you avoid receiving a letter from the FEC. Payments for independent expenditures appear on Schedule 5E. Filers must disclose name and address of the payee, the purpose of the expenditure, the date of dissemination and amount spent, the candidate's name and whether the communication was in support or opposition, the election, and the calendar year-to-date per election and race total. In addition to quarterly reports, more timely filing may be required depending on how much was spent on the independent expenditure and when it was released to the public. Independent expenditures that aggregate $10,000 or more, made 20 days or more before an election, trigger a 48-hour report. As the name suggests, These reports are due within 48 hours of the ad being disseminated to the public. Closer to an election, independent expenditures that aggregate $1,000 or more must be disclosed within 24 hours of the ad being disseminated to the public. All of these reports are filed on FEC Form 5 with the appropriate report type box checked. Please note that IEs disclosed on a 24 or 48-hour report must also appear on your subsequent quarterly report covering that period. Remember, the Form 5 is only for entities other than political committees that make independent expenditures. Registered political committees report independent expenditures on Schedule E of FEC Form 3X. For more information on independent expenditures by persons other than political committees, please click the link on the description for this video or scan the QR code. The Federal Election Commission is committed to encouraging compliance with the federal campaign finance laws. In addition to the information we provide on our website, we maintain a toll-free information line you can call for help. We respond promptly to questions sent by email, and we conduct conferences throughout the country, host webinars on a variety of topics, and post e-learning videos like this one on our website and YouTube channel. We encourage you to make use of these resources and look forward to serving you.